and Randy Moss, without even really being able to run, as he shoots the moon to the
pass, pumps to the left, 8 seconds left. He gets away from the pressure, fires to the end zone. It's caught! It's Greg Lewis! Oh my heavens! Greg Lewis's first catch has given the Minnesota. Ball's out, picked up by the Vikings. Chelsea getting ready to throw for the race. Way ball Chelsea. No flags. Touchdown Minnesota. Steps into the pass. It's caught. Diggs. Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable. Vikings win it.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, what's up, Vikings fans? Welcome to another episode of House Calls with Skull Doc, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. Joining me, as always, is Dave. How you feeling, Dave?
Dude, I think you called it, man. You said something about our offense would blow up. That's why I made that thumbnail. Even though you only picked them by 7, but but stat wise, just incredible. Just hitting on all cylinders, it seemed, and especially blew out in the fourth quarter, pulled away, took advantage of opportunities. It's a great offensive game. We damn near gave up 500 yards on defense. So there'd be a lot to talk about today.
Absolutely. Sam freaking Darnold. My God, this guy has been on one. December. Have you seen that? December,
yeah. You had the September and then December.
Yeah. This guy historically has been good in December, and I don't know what it is about Kirktober, December, but these guys get hot, and Sam Darnold is hot. 11 touchdowns without an interception. I believe he's now either tied or broken a record for most games in a season with a quarterback rating over 100. I mean, this guy is just playing some damn good football. Offensive line is giving him some good protection since putting Dalton Reisner in there at right guard, and the weapons are doing their thing. I mean, we just put up 42 at home, and I feel like TJ Hawkinson wasn't even a part of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's still more to this ceiling, which is great.
You mentioned Reisner, and I'm early in the game, and I'm like, okay, couple breakdowns on the offensive line. Oh, we need to get rid of our I'm looking at tweets. Oh, we need to get rid of our center. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. And they were solid the whole rest of the game. I went back and watched the game, and they were pretty freaking solid the whole rest of the game. We got to stop freaking out because of one bad quarter with our offensive line, because look how much time he had. Slow developing plays, long bombs. We were holding on to the ball, but he had time to throw it. So everybody stopped freaking out on just one bad quarter with offensive line. They figured out the blocking scheme. It was usually a scheme thing. It was usually we slid this way when we should have did this, but it wasn't individual effort sucking. I would say, and the same deal the game before. It was how we were blocking them or how we were reading it rather than actual individual effort.
100% agree. Borno tweeted out a play of, it was the touchdown to Addison, the first touchdown there where Reisner got pushed.
He got his arm hit.
Reisner got pushed. Yeah, Reisner was beat on the play and lost slowly to the point where the pressure came right into Sam's lap and he couldn't finish through the throw. But he got enough on it, obviously, for Addison to make a great play on the ball, score the touchdown. And I mean, that's a great example of why Reisner is playing right now, is because he's losing slow, and that's fine.
He held on to that block for good 3.5. It was riding a bull. He would have been on there for 8 seconds. Whatever it is.
That's fine. What we can't have is Ingram losing quickly, right off the snap. Pressure less than 2 seconds. That's what we haven't really seen the last few weeks since Reisner's been in, and it's been great. Obviously, the run game is what it is. We don't have an interior offensive line that's going to bully you and push you off the line and get Aaron Jones 5 yards down the field untouched. We saw a little bit of that actually at the very end of the game when we were kind of leaning on him, which was nice to see. finishing out that last drive. What's up, Daniel? Welcome in, man. But yeah, just awesome offensive performance all the way around. Our wide receivers absolutely shitting on the Falcons all game long, and just dominant performance. Third down was awesome. Red zone. I think that's the biggest story of this game. Vikings were awesome in the red zone.
Yeah, you got to give a lot of credit to Sam standing tall in the pocket and delivering the ball and stuff like that. Offensive line getting enough time. He didn't have to scramble in the red zone. He wasn't that earlier in the year when he was throwing those picks. He was scrambling, running around, trying to make a play. But here he was like, okay, I can stand in the pocket, deliver the ball, and I think that has a lot to his comfort, being comfortable in the pocket. And I think you said, yeah, third down efficiency 8 for 12. Well, they were 7 for 13, so they weren't too far off either. And they've actually been bad on third down. But 8 and 12 for us, that's really freaking good. They had 25 first downs, we had 23, 496 for them in yards, and we had 433. Probably would have been even worse if they didn't, if they didn't fumble a kickoff. But yeah, it was great how our offense, had the opportunity and then stepped on their neck, and that's the way I felt about it.
Yeah, that was great to actually dagger a team. Going into the fourth quarter, it's a 21-all tie ball game, like you said.
In the fourth quarter, yep.
Brian Oswald comes down and lays the freaking wood to jar that ball loose on the kickoff. Vikings go down there and score. And then Kirk said something after the game like, yeah, I mean, it's 21-21. Next time I touch the ball, we're down 14. And he's not wrong. You don't want your quarterback saying something like that after throwing a couple interceptions and not throwing a touchdown during the game. But he's not wrong. I mean, that's just the Vikings capitalizing on a turnover. And you got to do that to win football games. You have to win the turnover battle, and you have to get points on those turnovers. So credit to the Vikings for sudden change and then capitalizing on sudden change.
Yeah, I think we went down and scored, then they fumbled, right?
We scored. Yep. And then they fumbled, and we scored immediately again.
So we were 21-20. We went up 28-21, and then we kicked off. They fumbled, and now they're down 35-21.
Yep.
Which is, that's a tough one. But yeah, it was. I think I had talked about it being like closer, like at the end, and we would see Kirk coming back. And that was just a little earlier than I expected. I thought it would have been more deeper into the fourth quarter, but it was the third quarter where it happened. But then it was nice to see, like I just said, when they make a mistake, we went down and drove, got that go-ahead score, and then they effed up, and we put their we foot on their neck. And not even that, we went back and scored another touchdown. We've been waiting for this, for us to not keep to keep our foot on the gas, to give them the ball back with like 3 minutes and some change left, up 42-21. Yep. So that's great.
98-yard drive to finish that out, by the way.
Yeah.
Just dominating. That's how you dagger a team. And you know what? Kevin O'Connell did something that he doesn't really do, and he just kept hammering the run button, right? He just said, let's roll on them. Let's keep running the football. And that was great to see.
He's calling me out. I kept talking about how Matthew Stafford had a terrible month. O'Connell, they changed him around, stopped throwing picks. They go on to win the Super Bowl. All right. Except obviously we were winning games and they weren't. They lost 3 in a row in the same month. But hey, hold me to that. Hold me to that. Speaking of Matthew Stafford, someone posted before during the week or whatever that after Kirk Cousins went elsewhere, they changed their attention to trying to check out Matthew Stafford's contract situation.
Yep.
And then I love the person that tweeted this, went to their first choice, Sam Bradford or Sam Darnold. And I'm all, hold it. That's Kirk, Stafford, first choice, Sam Darnold. That sounds like the third choice. So it was kind of funny how they put that Sam Darnold was our first choice. No, it was great that we were able. Shout out to Kwesi for shifting gears. Shout out to O'Connell and all those other coaches that have saw that and Sam Darnold, because that was the talk between coaches. I need to listen to more coaches than I ever need to do listen to analysts. And I was misguided. And I was down on Bradford or Sam Darnold coming into this league. I need to listen to what the coaches thought. I need to listen to what Kevin O'Connell said about him and believe him. And and we're going to talk about what we think about Sam Darnold moving forward. But feel free to take over again, man. As they're going off.
So, speaking of what you just said there, coming into this year, I respected Kevin O'Connell and his acumen with quarterbacks, just seeing what we've seen with Nick Mullins and the Pastronaut. But as good as he did with them, he still fought to get like a 500 record with those quarterbacks. So coming into this year with Sam Darnold, that's kind of what I was expecting, right? The Vikings were 6.5 over under type of team. So I thought they were going to be better than that, but still probably 500 type team. That's just kind of what I was expecting. And the job that Kevin O'Connell has done to coach Sam Darnold, not just Kevin O'Connell, I think guys like Josh McCown as well deserve a huge shout out. But the job that they've done to allow Sam Darnold to play with a quiet mind, right? That we've talked about with Kirk Cousins, to be able to actually read the field, because Darnold's never really been good at that, and to use his arm talent that he's always had to minimize.
And I think we
mistakes.
saw that earlier in the year that he wasn't very good at reading the field, but now he looks totally flipped a switch.
It's great. And then Kirk has even said that it took him a while with this system to get to that point. So Sam Darnold, the scary thing, he's getting better. It seems like he gets better and better every week. And now it's to a point where it's like, how do you get better than this? Right? 5 touchdowns and 6 incompletions on the day. Damn near perfect. So kudos to Kevin O'Connell. Kudos to our offensive staff. Hell, kudos to Wes Phillips. I don't know what you do, but keep doing it, sir.
You must be doing something, right? Yeah. Josh McCown, man, you see him on the sidelines talking and you see some of the things he says to him on the sidelines and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know that there's that guy's going to get a shot, McCown. He's going to get a shot, especially at OC. He's got a future for sure in this league. Who knows about Phillips, but McCown seems to have that it factor about him. Again, another guy that we brought in, and who do we end up signing? Sam Darnold, and they were, he was the, backup quarterback for him at the Jets, and they were 2, thick-haired looking handsome dudes on the sideline. Now they're, offensive, juggernauts on the Vikings right now. But what a coaching staff we got put together here. And I've said this so many times. Zimmer couldn't keep guys here. He couldn't get people to come here. He had to get guys that were past their prime, coming off of medical history, to try to revitalize their career, to come coach for us. And then we were down to father-son duos on our bench. To where I feel like we got elite coaches at every position group, and it's wonderful. I think not enough people put so much weight on drafting players, but hell, put more weight on coaching them up. And for instance, and we're going to talk about it, Redmond, man, you're just finding guys out of the woodwork and having the balls to actually start him. In his after his breakout game, you go and start him the next game. Just decisions like that makes me feel effing happy about this coaching staff.
Yeah, Redmond has been a beast through 2 games. Absolutely showed us something, and then he was the starter this last game. Tillery barely played.
I went to go watch the game again,
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, holy fuck, 61's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Redmond, what? It was great.
And he was attacking the zone scheme very well, shooting gaps, getting penetration, pressuring the passer, batting down balls from Kirk Cousins. He was really good
too.
And Harrison Phillips is a hell of a run stop guy in the middle. So him and Redmond together in the middle is just a lot of beef to deal with.
Something I did notice is when Redmond was in there, we were so much more effective against the run. When he was out there, they were chunking us.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully our coaches see that and keep him out there even more than what he was, because and
They
they kind of
will.
moved him left and right. He was seeming a little more effective on the left side, but maybe in personnel, whatever. But you're right, he's making penetration, chasing guys down, disrupting the run game. He's a starter the rest of the year. He needs to be. He was by far on the defensive line the biggest standout in that game for me.
Yeah, sticking with the defense, let's talk about Dallas Turner, the rookie, Gabriel Murphy, the rookie, and Van Ginkel. So Van Ginkel did not have as many snaps this game. They are trying to lighten his load, keep him fresh. His foot might be bothering him a little bit. And so Gabriel Murphy played the Gink role when he came in, and he got a couple more snaps than Dallas Turner, who played more of the Patrick Jones role. And some accounts were making a big deal out of that. I don't care. They were clearly in there to play a specific role. In fact,
The fact that he got more snaps, says a lot.
Yeah, I saw a breakdown saying that I think Dallas Turner only had like 16 pass rushing snaps, and then he had like 9 snaps actually backing into coverage, which, I mean, that's what Flores wants to do with him. He's got the skill set to cover people in space. And honestly, right now, he's probably a better space player than he is a pure pass rusher in the NFL. Right now, I think all he's got is a speed move and maybe a long arm move. On the successful plays that we've seen, he's just beat people inside with speed or on like a tight end loop that he runs with a defensive tackle stunt. But I trust in Brian Flores when he says, listen, Dallas Turner is going to be a stud. He's super young. He's super raw. It's going to take time. But in the meantime, let's use his athletic, freakish abilities and get him on the field and use his speed. Matthew Collar tweeted today, and I responded to it, that Brian Flores during his press conference said that he met with Dallas Turner several times coming up into the week, getting ready for the Falcons game, just making sure that he was on his P's and his Q's and making sure that he was ready for the game plan, knowing that he was going to play a role in this. And I thought that's great. We need that for this young athletic freak. Let's make him more part of the game plan. Honestly, what are we losing in terms of Patrick Jones versus Dallas Turner? I'd rather have Turner on the field. That's just me, though.
I'm always liking more snaps from what I think our future is. And there was a play where I felt like it was pretty well blocked, and I think people posted it, but Dallas Turner set the edge and basically caused that play to fail, which is something you don't expect him in it. Like I said, he doesn't got that NFL strength yet. But he did in that play, and he knocked the play back and caused it kind of like the week before when Cam Akers got blown up on a pitch play. One guy blew up CJ Ham and then kind of screwed up the play. This is the same thing Dallas Turner did on this one play. So it was a play to the right, looked well blocked, except for he turned the ball in. He stuffed the block, drove it back into the running back, and he had to make a decision and it slowed down the play. They didn't get anything. And so a play like that, plus he had some pressure. I think Daniel said he turned Kirk into grimace mode here. Let me shout him on here. But yeah, he had a pretty good game, and everybody's still talking about how, I seen it today that, there's 2 other players that were drafted ahead of him. Both I liked, but they're 3 years older than him, and he's still 20, 22. This guy's got such a long, illustrious career ahead of him. He's a real deal. I think he's going to be good.
Yeah, I honestly think his ceiling is higher than Grenard. I think that he's got the same athletic profile with longer arms, and he can play better in space. So I just give it time, and I think that he's going to be an absolute stud. Not worried about Dallas Turner. Yeah.
With those long arms, man, it's just,
and his speed and athleticism, he's going to be able to just be incredible.
Plus, he's a good kid, man. He just says and does the right things, and apparently he's a hard worker, and it's all the good things, these traits you want to see in a player like this. And again, he's not bad at pass, you know, out there. He's a all around. He's not a Danielle Hunter where we're putting a square peg in a round hole. He fits that role, and it's going to be a great thing to watch for the next God knows how many years if we can afford him.
Sticking with the defense, you'd mentioned that they just gave up damn near 500 yards, which is a problem. The Vikings defense the last 2 weeks has been very leaky. It just has been. They've been worse against the run. They've given up more yards. Now they're still turning the football over. So they're still, doing that and kind of bend but don't break and being opportunistic. But it definitely looks like they're tired. They've played a lot of snaps recently. They've lost the time of possession battle a few games in a row, and they went to overtime at Chicago. I just think that they're tired, and I think they need a break. And it's nice that they get an extra day to
get an extra
recover.
day. It's kind of cool.
Going into this game. That's going to be big for them. But I do think it's important to get a few snaps off of these players like Harrison Smith, Jonathan Grenard, Van Ginkel, Cashman if possible. I mean, if you trust somebody coming in for him. You realize we still haven't lost a game when Cashman plays.
Yeah, I said that at our fan club. Yeah, we're still undefeated with it. Now, put this into perspective too. They had 127 yards of penalties. Some of those came from offense because they were a lot of holding. And I think there was they had quite a few holding penalties that set the offensive back. So they were kind of shooting themselves in the foot. Their running game was definitely, I forget, 158 yards rushing. We had 115. Most of that is because we got, or a lot of that came late in the game for us, but they ran pretty consistently against us. And honestly, they threw pretty easy against us too. Shout out to, here's one play I wanted to talk about, and I didn't want to forget to talk about it. Kirk Cousins' second interception. That was Harrison Smith rushed that.
Oh yeah.
He was gonna hit him. Kirk threw to a spot because people are gonna say, oh, Kirk overthrew. No, he was about to get crushed by Harrison Smith.
Who let up on him?
What's that?
Harrison Smith did let up on him.
He he didn't drop him to the ground or anything.
He didn't even really push him. He had the chance. He could have knocked his ass over.
He saw him coming. He threw to a spot. He threw the wrong spot, and obviously Byron Murphy continues to show that we might not be able to afford him this year with that nice little one-handed grab. He needed to realize he needed to run out of the end zone because he got the ball at the 2-yard line again. But so that was a great play by Harrison. Well, it was a great call by our defensive coach, and Harrison Smith almost had him right. If Kirk actually holds onto the ball to actually deliver it on time, he's dead. Harrison Smith's got him dead in the tracks. But shout out to our defense, make him throw it early.
Cover zero look. Harrison's unblocked coming off the right edge. And had a chance to bury Kirk despite Kirk getting the ball off just because he had that, he was one step away. But Harrison barely even touches him. He's like, you can just see that they all love Kirk, respect Kirk. He's not going to rough him up for no reason. And
Pitts would have dropped it anyways.
And Kirk missed his spot. He should have thrown it more inside. He didn't.
Yeah, he threw it straight, and he kind of turned it in.
Yeah. So
Pitts is stone hands, man. He had
Pitts had a terrible game, and he's been terrible. That guy is trending.
He had one catch in the last 2 games, and then he drops 2 balls that Kirk. He dropped a touchdown late in the game, or at the last drive. That would have been a touchdown, and then he dropped one earlier. Would have been for a first down. He got out muscled by one of our corner, or I don't know if it was a safety or cornerback. But in the corner of the end zone, that could have been a touchdown for him.
Yeah, it was Theo
Theo. Yeah, I was like, great play by Theo, right? And I was thinking of you when that happened because I was like, he might be our starter next year.
Yeah, I think he will be. I agree with you. Terrible game from Kyle Pitts. Kirk Cousins if I'm a Falcons fan, I'm done with this experiment. Let's see what Michael Penix has, because it's not working. There's no reason to not play Penix at this point. If he's ready, get a look at what you got. That's just my opinion.
Were they one game out of first place, right?
I believe so. I looked at their chances to make the playoffs, and it dipped to like 47%. But Kirk has lost 4 in a row. He's thrown, I think, 9 interceptions to 0 touchdowns the last 4 games. So super tough stretch for Kirk Cousins.
Well, would they have 3 rushing touchdowns on Sunday?
That sounds right. Yes.
Yeah, tough to throw a touchdown when you run it in. So they do rely on the run a lot more than we do when it comes down to the goal line.
I mean,
but
he couldn't even get one in garbage time. And it's just
the guy dropped it. The guy dropped it.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk wasn't good. He threw for a lot of yards, but he made mistakes, and he wasn't good enough to win.
Yeah.
So I think we should transition now to a topic that everyone's talking about, and we were talking off camera. I didn't want to talk about this topic, but everybody's talking about it. Therefore, I think we need to give our opinions on this topic, and that topic is Sam Darnold and what do you do with him after this year. Now, my opinion on this is, hey, Vikings fans, let's just enjoy the ride. We're 11-2. We don't get very many seasons. Most fan bases do not get this season very often when you are a legit Super Bowl contender, unless you're the Kansas City Chiefs and you win 3 in a row. It's just a special season, and we should enjoy it instead of debating and worrying about, what's going to happen. But it's a great problem to have, obviously, that your Sam Darnold coming into your team, killing all prior expectations, playing great MVP caliber football. And now it says, what do we do with him? And Daniel says in the comments that you franchise him and you trade him, king ransom for Darnold. That's certainly an option. That may be what they do. I don't know. That'll be interesting when the time comes. But in my experience, so my thought process on it, and I have a tweet here that I want to share with you guys. This is from Steve Palazzolo. This is career records. Kirk Cousins without Kevin O'Connell is 65-66 for a 496 winning percentage. With Kevin O'Connell, Kirk went 17-8. And keep in mind that he got hurt and he was going to win a few more games. That's a 680 winning percentage. Okay. Sam Darnold without Kevin O'Connell, 21-35, which is a 375 winning percentage. With Kevin O'Connell is 11-2, 846 winning percentage. And he doesn't go on to mention, the work that Kevin O'Connell did with the Pastronaut, with Mullins, keeping this team competitive and almost winning ball games with these guys, winning a few ball games with these guys. In my opinion, Kevin O'Connell and the offensive core that we have, the weapons that we have, the offensive line that we have, sets up any quarterback for this type of success. Now, Sam Darnold deserves a hell of a lot of credit for his arm talent and the job that he's done the last month. But it's my opinion that they had a plan in place to draft a guy in the top 10. They did that with J.J. McCarthy, to build up this team as much as you can with free agency money and through the draft, and to go win a Super Bowl that way. And in my opinion, it would be taking a step back away from that plan to pay Sam Darnold market money, right? To then hamstring your cap space again and make it tougher to build a roster. So in my opinion, I would roll with JJ McCarthy. And Dave, I'm interested to see, what would you do about the Sam Darnold situation?
Well, I was thinking today, I go 5 best quarterback seasons I know of the Vikings. 1975, Fran Tarkenton. 98, Randall Cunningham. 2004, Dante Culpepper. 2009, Brett Favre. I think could have been 23 with Kirk Cousins, but I'm going to say 22 with Kirk Cousins because he finished out the year and what he did that year, because I consider how bad our defense was. And this year, Sam Darnold is having, I think, one of the top 5 quarterback, and his year's not over, but I think he's going to end up being in my top 5 quarterback game seasons of all time for the Minnesota Vikings. How often does that come around? Well, I just said 5 times, so it's in the top 5. Um, I don't think we're like right now this year. I don't think we're in a cap hell situation, right? We're not in a cap hell situation. And we got over, I think, $44 million in the with Kirk Cousins, still in there. We got 42 million this year in the quarterback room. We're not in a cap hell situation this year. So it's not like we don't have room to absorb it. And we don't know what he'll take. So if it's a Daniel Jones $40 million a year, do we trust a Kwesi who's just spun gold with getting free agents lately and undrafted free agents to fill out a roster? Could he do it? I've said this all year, and maybe I try to antagonize some people every once in a while, but I said this all year that I think Kevin O'Connell's deserved the right to pick whoever he wants at quarterback. If it's Sam Darnold, go get it. If it's I want to let him go, and I think I can do this with JJ again, so be it. I'm completely happy. I will not lose a wink of sleep with either decision. And what I don't want to happen is this fan base go fucking nuts on the other side of the aisle of who wanted Sam Darnold and who wanted JJ to start the season. Because right now I put out a poll like right after the game, 5 touchdowns. 45% want Sam Darnold back. 55 want or something like that want JJ to start a game. A guy who has not played a regular season game in the NFL, and we just had a guy throw his 29th touchdown with 3 games. I don't know how many games left in the season.
4
games left in the season, and he's got more. And he has 29 touchdowns already, and just playing as good as anybody. Someone ranked him in the top 10 quarterbacks this year. I'm like, how is he not in your top 5 quarterbacks this year? He's been that good. I only can point to 3 games that where he was questionable, and we were talking about, he's good for 3 to 5 bonehead plays a game. Now he's good for 3 to 5 amazing plays a game.
Yep.
And yes, KOC gets a lot out of the quarterbacks, but even the best coaches says, they'll say the players may make me look good. I feel now to where I'm totally flipped around where Sam Darnold's always had it. He's always had it. And and just Kevin O'Connell put him in a situation where he was able to play freely. He wasn't the big play dude. He's the big play dude. Then that's why it reminds me a lot of Cunningham. Just throwing it down there, just giving him a chance down there. That's not the player that we thought he was gonna be. We thought, hey, if this guy can just not throw picks and game manage, I felt like we'd win 10 games. Now I'm like, how are we not gonna win 13 or 14 games? I just feel like we're gonna blow out. I feel like we're gonna blow out the Bears. They had 4 yards at halftime last week. Yeah, but I'm not going to be so adamant about one way or the other that, in fact, I've kind of decided to not just to post good things about what he's doing and not antagonize anybody about which way they're going to go, because I don't want to be a part of that shit no more at all. And so, yeah, Sam Darnold's gonna get paid either with us or somebody else, guaranteed. Yeah. And I think he will take. I think if he was with us, he's not going to try to break our bank. And it was brought up, will he franchise him? Right? We're not going to get a windfall if we franchise him. Someone knows they could just stick us with him. If we're franchising and trying to trade him, they could just stick us with them, and they know that. So we're not going to get a windfall for him. The only way we franchise him and trade him is if we we've already worked it out with another team and picked that team, and Sam Darnold was a part of it. And we said, okay, we'll go here. We'll franchise you. We're going to get a whatever pick, maybe even the second. Who knows?
Yeah.
They got a second and a fourth, I think, to Carolina. The Jets, they got a second and another pick when he traded to Carolina. But you got what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I have a little reckless speculation here for you.
Go give me that reckless speculation.
I was thinking about this in the car on my way home from surgery tonight, about the team that makes the most sense for me for Sam Darnold to move on to, if it's not the Vikings, is the LA Rams, because they run the same system. He reminds me of Matt Stafford, and he's going from Kevin O'Connell to Sean McVay. Now, Matt Stafford he might be in his last season. He might have one more season left. Now, I thought about this. What if the Vikings ultimately would like JJ McCarthy to sit one more season, right? But Sam Darnold wants a longer extension, okay? Well, maybe the Rams are interested in trading Matthew Stafford to the Vikings with 1 year left on his deal. And Matthew Stafford, maybe he's interested in, you know what, let's do one more shot in this system, try to win a Super Bowl. It seems like it works for both parties to me, where Sam Darnold could get a longer extension and go out and play with the Rams for multiple years. He's got weapons out there, great system, great coach. And then Matt Stafford gets to go into the sunset one more try, while the Vikings have JJ McCarthy on the bench for one more year. I don't know how that Matt Stafford contract situation looks. This is just speculating on my way home. But I was like, that actually kind of makes sense. So you would tag and trade Sam Darnold to the Rams, and I'm sure it's probably a wash, Stafford for Darnold. Don't know how that compensation works there. And then they would give Darnold a new deal. Okay. So the tags, I don't think we're stuck with that tag money based on that trade. And then they would hammer out a new deal anyways. So it's basically just a way to trade him to the Rams. And Kevin O'Connell and McVay have a great relationship. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I know we like Matthew Stafford.
Right. It all just kind of makes sense.
Apparently, we tried to look into it already. I think he's got some guarantees in the 26th, though. Yeah. Says dead cap hit 22,026.
22 million?
22 million, yeah.
That's a lot of change. So that would have to be worked out.
Yeah, he's a UFA in 27. So
they would have to rework that deal then to make that work somehow.
Yeah. He's cap hits 53 million. So yeah, that might be tough. But yeah, the whole 1 year thing with another quarterback. And the only reason I would say that is because GMs, coaches, they don't want to guess. They want more of a sure thing. And the whole question is, what's JJ going to be like coming off what probably his first injury in his career? The rust, potentially. I mean, keep in mind he was a college player, and they play. You got spring practice, and you got all that shit going on. Not him. He hasn't got to practice, so it's one of those rust factor things. You got a win now team. I'm not saying this is what I want. I'm just saying, and I've said I would get attacked like this last year. I'm not saying I'm not what, but I know what coaches and GMs don't like. Hope, and Kwesi's saying, it's hope is not a plan. Hope is not a plan. Hoping JJ is going to be completely healthy is maybe a result, but it's not a plan per se. And that's might be why we got Daniel Jones. That might be why we got Daniel Jones, and we might be able to sign him like we did with Sam Darnold. He'll be cheap. We can sign him for 1 year. He could be that insurance policy if JJ is not back. So there's that thought process too. I'm still leaning that we move on from Sam, and then it's JJ next year, and Daniel Jones is a cheap backup, or it might be another $10 million backup like Sam Darnold was.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Danny Dimes is a backup. That's different than the Sam Darnold. JJ McCarthy will be back.
Difference. Yeah.
He will be back. he will be back ready for OTAs to rock and roll. The recurrence risk on the meniscus is very low, so he should be good to go. He should be your starter if that's the route they're taking. I think Danny Dimes is your backup in case JJ goes down, and then you have a great backup, and that's fine.
You tell me this: how did like Sam Bradford? How do degenerative knees or joints or what's more? What is more to that than what he's got?
Great question. So that's arthritis, what you're talking about, which is loss of cartilage. Okay. The meniscus is a spongy type of tissue that protects bone from bone contact, and it lies on top of the cartilage. When you perform a meniscectomy and you cut out the meniscus, you get wear and tear of the knee, which leads to osteoarthritis. Okay. That's degenerative knee pain. That's what Sam Bradford had. Now, a lot of these guys get cortisone injections in the knee for knee pain over and over and over time. That's not healthy for your chondrocytes either. Chondrocytes are cells that make cartilage in your knee. Okay. So that starts breaking down cartilage. So you don't want to be jumping. I do 3 injections a year, and that's my max into a joint, because more than that, you're degrading the cartilage and you're advancing osteoarthritis. So that's what Sam was dealing with. And I would not be surprised if Sam Darnold's going to need a knee replacement at a very young age. Bob says, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Bob says, what do you do if Sam wins us a Super Bowl? You give him a lifetime contract and you say, thank you.
Yeah, I saw someone post that today, and I'm like, hell yeah. I'll fucking build a statue for him. I mean, I don't know, man. I am that smitten with the way he's playing. I haven't seen. I mean, even Kirk in 22 and the 8 games last year, our defense sucked. Just fucking sucked. For a while, the first 3 games of the year, then the whole 22 season. But now that we have at least a solid defense, he's able to play and not be pressured or not having to try to win it all every play. But he feels so comfortable in there. And then seeing his eyes and seeing people and seeing his eyes move around the field now, it reminds me a lot of, and that his mobility reminds me of a lot of Dante Culpepper in 04. We've been asking for a high draft pick, big arm, mobile quarterback for our lives. We have a 3rd overall pick, big, mobile, big arm, and he's killing it. That's going to be tough to let go, man. It's going to be tough to let go.
Yeah. I mean, let's
and what if he goes and plays for a division rival?
Yeah. I mean, let's say this. The NFC Championship game is played in Detroit, and let's say they beat us 42 to like 35, and Sam Darnold threw for 4 touchdowns, had a fantastic game. It's like, you're that close. Do you really want to let that go? I hear you. Like, I'm leaving room to change my mind, but I agree with everyone here in our comments, and everyone in the comments is saying, stick with the plan. Stick with the plan. Stay with JJ McCarthy, because what we need to realize, and what we haven't really experienced as fans in a really long time, is just how much free agency money the Vikings have to play with this year. We have not seen that in a long time. They can go out and get 4 or 5 starters with this money, right? They can get the top right guard on the market if they want to. They can get a top 10 starting cornerback in free agency if they want to. They can look for someone to rush the passer up the middle. Like, there are so many holes on this 11-2 football team that you can make better. And JJ McCarthy coming in next year, playing his first football in the NFL, it's not going to look as good as what we've seen Sam Darnold for the last 4 weeks now. It just isn't. But if you can get 70 to 80% of that, you're still going to win a lot of games with him. You absolutely are. And then in 2026, it's time to rock and roll and go get that Lombardi.
Yeah. Kevin O'Connell, in a press conference last year, I think he said something like windows, these opportunities don't come around. I know you talk about the plan, but the plan changed There was a plan to. There was an attempt to re-sign Kurt. There's an attempt to go look for another guy. There was they moved to Sam Darnold, and then they didn't know who they were going to get to draft. They drafted him. Yeah, the plan changed, and I always give credit Kwesi adapting. I was like, "Oh my god, someone killed their dog like John Wick," when Kirk went to Atlanta and they had to come out of the press conference and say, "Hey, we got a plan." And then they announced Sam Darnold. And I saw the amount of puke emojis on Twitter um, because of that. And thank God they were right and they did the right thing. And I don't even think they thought it was going to turn out like this, but it did. And plans do change when you got new information. This is like crib notes, man. Like, holy shit, we got the answers to the test right here. We got the answers to the test right here. Do I want to throw them away and take that chance on all that studying I did? And I got this JJ McCarthy right here. It's going to be a hard decision for him, and they love him. They love Sam Darnold, and the teammates obviously do too. I think they've taken to him just like you saw at the end of the game. They lined up to hug Kirk on his way leaving the stadium. I know he got booed during the game, but I think Dustin showed video of him getting cheered as he was running off the field.
Yeah.
Coaches, Sam Darnold told Kirk, they love you here. I think they love Sam Darnold here. And it's the kind of environment we have, so it's not unusual that I'd feel that way about a player. I don't think early on it was there. I don't think he was commanding the team yet, but during that game, I tweeted out, this is Sam Darnold's team right now.
Yeah.
I think that's and to have both Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson for the first time in Viking history go for at least 2 touchdowns and 100 yards during a game, 2 receivers. To think of the receiver combos we've had in our lifetime, to them to be the first team to do it, and Sam Darnold to be the quarterback, that's you're starting to get something special when you got shit like that happening.
Absolutely. I would like to shift gears here just a little bit and rant against Lions fans for a second. The Lions fans gave us, our fan base, a lot of shit for booing Kirk Cousins at the start of the game. And their whole thing was that we gave them a lot of shit for booing Matthew Stafford when he returned for the playoff game at Ford Field. And the situation is just not the same. Matthew Stafford was number 1 overall draft pick for the Lions, poured his heart and soul into that team. They were bad his entire career, and Matthew Stafford gave them just some excellent entertainment, some great years. Hell, he threw his arm out during a play, put it back in, went out there and threw the 2-point conversion, just tough as nails. Gotta love Matthew Stafford, the quarterback. Then he gets traded to the Rams for Jared Goff. That's worked out very well for them. And they boo him on his way back. And this is a guy who loved Detroit, gave everything he had to Detroit, was drafted by Detroit. And then, they criticized the Vikings fan base for booing Kirk Cousins, but Kirk was not drafted here. We paid him a ton of money as a free agent to come in here and take a Super Bowl ready team to finish the job to the Super Bowl. And we fell short time and time again. And through the 6 years, we had 1 playoff win against the Saints and not a whole lot of success outside of that, other than just a lot of regular season wins, but no postseason success. So, and then it was time to leave. And, Kirk made his money. He did what he does. And he went out there and got the best deal that he could. And he always wins, the free agency battle. I mean, kudos to that guy. He's an excellent businessman quarterback. But I just thought that there was a lack of awareness here from the Lions fans who are criticizing the Vikings fan base for booing Kirk Cousins. I thought it was entirely appropriate to boo Kirk Cousins at the start of that football game. But then, of course, the fans gave him his flowers at the end of the game after the game was over. And that's football, man. It's just not the same as what the Lions, the way that they treated Matthew Stafford, in my opinion.
All right. I want to answer this one. Any news on Taki?
I haven't heard anything. Have you?
No.
I'll look that up for you next week.
Let's look at Justin Jefferson. This is our pick 6. 87.5 yards over. We get that one. And I think we went pretty heavy on the over this week, and we hit it right on the nose. Aaron Jones, that was over. He hit like 70 some yards on that touchdown late in the game, which was awesome. You did mention that you thought he'd break one, and there wasn't no 30-yard runs, but there was a couple decent ones.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think about Aaron Jones in this game?
Steady. I thought he was steady, looked good, looked explosive, held on to the football. I liked what I saw.
Now, so we both got the over on that one. Jordan Addison. No one looked better than Jordan Addison. I think there was they were asking Kevin O'Connell about his ability to track the ball. And he's talked about back when he was the Redskins and he was watching Philly, and I think it was Deshaun Jackson, his ability to track the ball. This is elite level tracking of the ball. Elite level. And Justin Jefferson has it too. That guy, he made that guy just not know where the hell he was going.
Yeah.
I never seen someone so lost in his life, but these two guys are special ability of tracking the ball. And same way with, it was Randy Moss was, right? And I remember Brian Billick going, no, yes. When Culpepper would throw it down the field. No, yes. And that's what we're looking with Sam Darnold. He threw it down there, and we have two guys that can stop where they're at and go play center field, and that's what they did in this game. And and Addison drew a penalty. Justin Jefferson drew penalties. A lot of I think we're like second or first in offensive drawing offensive penalties, and I think the Lions are last.
Yep.
With 4 yards.
Yep, I saw that.
Crazy. So, but those guys are catching yak merchants, right? And we're a big play. So that makes a lot more sense when you look at it.
Yep.
TJ Hawkinson, gosh, what was he?
Did we miss that one?
Miss this one?
No, he had a long one over the middle. He had it 37.5.
Let's find out. Box score. Do it. 45. So we got this one too. I think we hit them all, man.
Like a 25-yard catch on that one catch. I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah, solid game. 4 for 45. I think you talked about 5 catches.
Kirk, we both hit the over.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins hit this over. See, Sam Darnold.
Easy over.
253 over. So we're both 6 for 6.
Wow.
6 out of 6 out of this one.
Shit, should have played a parlay.
First.
Yeah.
Shit, we should have bet this week. I guess some guys that Cam Akers looked pretty good.
Yeah, he did.
Really, really showing out as the second running back. Obviously, we only had 5 guys catch a ball. That's kind of unusual for how much offense we had. But defensively, I thought Metellus had one of his better games. That pick he had on Kirk, he may look like Kirk just threw it to him, but he played that well. Like, I think the announcers were saying that the running back didn't go out, which allowed Metellus to play deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And when his receiver, I think it was what's his name, Mooney, was going across, and you could see Metellus going, but he stopped. Or first Mooney stopped going and went back because it was zone and went to a spot. And that's where Kirk was going to throw it as Mooney was coming back, but Metellus had stopped. So the fact that Metellus kept his discipline and was able to just be in the right spot to catch that ball. So great freaking play by him. And I think all around he played well. I think it was one of his better games.
Yeah.
There's a lot of individual good efforts. And that's what I said about like 22. Our defense sucked. The only reason we were getting turnovers early in the season is because of individual efforts. So now I talked about Harrison Smith on that blitz, Metellus just now. There's a lot. Jalen Redmond, Dallas Turner, Van Ginkel on that tip ball looked like he could have caught that and ran it back for a touchdown. There's a lot of individual efforts that broke up plays, batted down balls, ruining drives for Atlanta. Just a lot of individual efforts that just seemed to work throughout the game. It didn't feel like we gave up 500 yards offense, but we did.
Mm-hmm.
But Metellus is an example of having discipline, staying, not taking yourself out of a play. What did you think of the touchdown or not the interception celebration?
The white chick celebration was fantastic. I knew what they were doing immediately. I've seen that
Yeah.
movie. When I was growing up, my brother and I would just spam that movie. It was on all the time because we grew up and our parents had like I think it's called an Enclave, some SUV with like the TV that kind of comes down and you can watch movies while you're in the car. And that was one of the DVDs we had in the back. So we would just watch that over and over. And just they crushed it. And then they released the practice video of them working on it. And they really struggled with the flip part of that. But then they absolutely nailed it in game. So kudos to them, man. Once again, best celebration in the league in Minnesota. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. If Sammy here gets 40 touchdowns, Bob, I may put this at 3 of best seasons because our record is much better than 2004. It would depend on the playoff run. Maybe I give some weight to 2004. We made it to the NFC title game and got our ass handed to us 42. I think 42 donut or 41 donut or whatever. But I put that right up there with 2009, 1975. I mean, Cunningham didn't play the whole season. He didn't start the first 2 games of the season, so I might put it at 3. If we make it to the Super Bowl, obviously I'm building a fucking statue in my front porch. But yeah, and buying the jersey and dyeing my hair red. It's a good freaking year for him, man. I think 40 is doable. He might fall a little short of that, but I think the fact that we know we can step on the gas at the end of games and get that extra touchdown. I didn't think we were going to go and try to get another touchdown, and we did, which was awesome.
Yep, it was great to see him dagger for sure.
Oh, was it 2000?
Yeah,
okay,
2000.
2004 though. He got him on the cover of Madden.
Hmm.
I don't think we won. I don't know. I forget the record that game, but sorry. Yeah, was that 2000? Shit, 41 in 2000. I got to get corrected every once in a while. My getting old, man. Thanks, Purple Diamond.
Well, I am out of topics for tonight, Dave. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
We got a missed kick.
That's okay. Not worried about him.
You're not worried?
He's still my boy. He hit the damn iron. That's okay.
Yeah.
First game back.
It was a straight kick.
He'll be back. He's all fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Will the Thrill is the guy. He's the man. We'll be okay.
Do you think Byron Murphy is worth bringing back?
Price point's going to be tough.
What do you think he makes as a cornerback? What are we paying him? 12?
That sounds right. And I don't know. My head's just telling me closer to like 18 to 20. Corners are expensive, dude.
I don't know about 18, but maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe. Someone's going to pay him, right?
We'll see.
Pay him.
I'll have to look up.
Flipped his story. I went from a guy I didn't trust, couldn't tackle, to being overall solid. Seems to be in the right place at the right time now.
Byron Murphy signed a 2-year, $17.5 million contract with $12.6 million in guarantees.
Okay, so it wasn't even 10 a year. I think, I could see him. How old is he?
He's 26 years old.
I'm thinking he could go as high as 14. I don't know about 18. I don't think he's a shutdown guy, so that's why he's not going to go that high. And he does, and he's well, his flexibility helps because I know people are crapping on the corners for saying that, or I think he said Shaq Griffin got to start today or whatever. But Shaq Griffin starts when they move Murphy to the corner to the nickel, right? So it's not like Griffin doesn't get a lot of playing time. The announcers were saying, "Oh, you got some playing time," and I'm like, "You don't know our team then." All right, don't even rub it in, man. Sorry, I got the wrong year. I always screw up that year because that 2004 season, man, he threw for 4,700 yards, and the only reason he didn't get the MVP that year is because freaking Manning went off the last 3 games of the season. Quad injury takes time. Yeah.
Breaking news. Randy Moss is battling liver cancer per Larry Fitzgerald. Randy recently announced he's stepping away from his ESPN job. And I had speculated that it was liver damage, secondary to jaundice eyes. He had the yellow eyes. So that's tough news. And prayers go out to Randy. We're thinking of
punch
him.
In the gut, man. I wore my 84 jersey on Sunday. Just that's terrible. It would be the same as I felt when Kirby Puckett died. I remember walking out, hearing the news Kirby Puckett died, and I don't want that to happen. I don't even know what prognosis of liver cancer is. I know I don't know. That sounds awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. So keep Randy in our prayers.
Oh
yeah, is that what got him? I didn't know.
He fought cancer for like 2 years, though, I think.
Yeah, it was quick. It was really quick. Yeah, he wasn't looking good at the end. We were questioning if he was sick or not.
I just talked to a girl that just got through cancer in my job. I get to hear stories like that all the time, every day. I was in a lot of people that met. I work in debt consolidation, and I'm helping people, and freaking I'll get all the cancer stories, and it's just awful to hear every day. It kind of depresses you, but usually I'm talking them after remission, so it's a good story. All right, yeah, it's what a way to end the show. Gosh, shout out to Randy Moss, man. He's the GOAT. Live long, man.
Our prayers are with him. Best of luck, man. That's just tough news.
We'll have a preview that we'll post on Saturday. So look for that. Make sure you hit like on that as you're walking out the door here. Get this pushed out. We had 2 of our biggest numbers for School Doc here last week. I think that might have something to do with Kirk Cousins coming back, but I appreciate everybody listening, and some of you guys are regulars now, and it's great to have you on.
Good to see y'all. Skol.